Hey everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And as I was loading into this battle, I was in an absolute foul, frustrated mood. Let me know if this has ever happened to you in World of Tanks. You're just having one of those runs of games where no matter what you seem to try and do, your team either completely fails, or alternatively, another way of looking at it is the enemy team is just better and manages to absolutely crush your team. And yeah, it doesn't matter what you feel that you can do, it just seems to end up in a horrible loss streak. Now at the start of this video I want to talk about mental in World of Tanks and why it's something that's very important to at least try and control. Look, I'm still learning. I feel like if there's one thing that's better about getting older, it's about being more in control of your emotions. Because you felt in passionate ways before and you felt frustrated before so many times that you realize that in the end, getting angry, it's not really that useful when it comes to doing something like playing a video game. Sure, getting angry can be useful if you needed to use a feat of strength in real life. Like, let's say there was an accident in front of you and you had to, I don't know, go and push a bus off a granny. It's a terrible analogy. But hopefully you get my point. Sometimes you need that adrenaline. Sometimes you need that raw kind of physical strength. I don't know about you. I'm not the strongest dude, but I'm not the best World of Tanks player, but I can play World of Tanks in video games in an alright fashion, right? I don't think you need to be like the Mountain to be able to be good at a video game. Have you seen some of the most successful League of Legends players? You know, the ones that end up in the grand finals. I'm not one to talk, but it looks like they could probably use a cheeseburger, alright? Or to maybe go on a walk, even. I'm making a pretty bold statement there. What I'm trying to say is that video games are not about physicality, so to say. Video games are about the kind of the physicality up there, right? The mental. And by getting angry, it just feels like you narrow your focus. You kind of just want to rage at whatever's in front of you, right? You're not trying to take into account the whole picture. You might not notice that one of the enemy flanks is weak. You might not notice that possibly the enemy are about to make an aggressive play with an autoloader and manage to shut you down hard. As soon as you narrow your focus, you might be very good at that one-on-one fight in front of you, but let's be honest, that's only a tiny little percentage of what World of Tanks and what gaming is all about. It's not about directly what's in front of you, at least the whole time. You need to keep calm, you need to keep focused on the bigger picture. And World of Tanks is one of the reasons why I've been in love with this game for so many years, is that kind of real-time strategy that is involved in it, about being aware of everything and being able to take that into account and then hopefully making better decisions against your opponents. And so if you can try and control your emotions, even by just taking a break from the game, for even 5 minutes or 10 minutes will probably help. Blooming do that. Sometimes it's hard for me to be able to do that because I'm sitting there and trying to entertain thousands of people on Twitch, right? But if that's you as well, then fine. If you aren't in that position, you have the luxury of taking a break, doing something else, and then coming back with a fresh mental, it will certainly help. Because you have to have your mind in every game. And being focused on the previous game, hopefully you stop, you learn from it, but it's not going to help you in this one by having still most of your mind focused on the previous results and feeling the frustration there. And I think you might be seeing why I might be getting a little bit frustrated in this game as well. There is a T-62A who hasn't even bothered to load into the battle. We are down on double hit points right now. The enemy have 18,000, although it will be updating as I managed to get close to them, so it wasn't quite double. It was more like that they had 70% more hit points than us. 17,000 versus 10,000. This is going to be a real struggle to be able to get through this one. Now, I decided to change flanks because really sitting over there wasn't making all of these vehicles that you see on the minimap on the hill useful. They were just wanting to camp. We had a 121B, we had a 1516, we had an AMX 1390. By sitting up in that position that I was previously, those tanks are not useful. I might as well let the enemy push down the western flank. There's no way that I'm going to be able to dig out an E100 in a Yag Tiger. And instead go and try and support the town as it crumbles. One of the best things that you can do in any autoloader, or in fact in any tank that has the mobility to be able to do so, is to go into a position before something like an E100, one of those big super heavies, is about to fall. And by going and using my speed, changing the flank completely, and then going and putting some pressure out on the 50 TP and the T110E3. You know, it's those big chunks of damage, those 1000 hit point chunks from a vehicle like an autoloader, or you could do that in any medium tank. This thing doesn't have the best DPM after all, at only 1800. Then you can start to turn it back into your team's favor. And that's something that's very important to realize when you could be in a better position. And I'm thankful that even though I was incredibly frustrated in this game, I still wanted to win so much that we still had the look at the bigger picture there. So by going in and harassing the E1, well, not the E100, helping the E100 to harass the T110E3, now I've got into a better kind of vanguard position here, where the enemy two Chafu Tier 4s actually mirrored my movements. Did you notice they were opposite me towards the northwest? And it looks like they had the great idea as well to be able to go and make the pressure play in the town. The Chafu Tier 4s have gone in and they fired what looks like pretty much all of their ammo at the Bat Chatillon 25 TAP. And so I realized that at this stage of the game, I have to go and make a pressure play on these chars. We have vehicles coming in from the east. We have a T-49 up on the west. Right now, I have to try and catch a platoon of French auto-loading medium tanks, hopefully in the next 30 seconds while they're, to all intents and purposes, reloading, and then we can maybe turn this game back into our team's favor. So I fire one on the move. A disaster strikes as I don't manage to go into the vehicle, only managing to track them. But I've only got one shell left. Thankfully, we didn't low roll the second shell, and now we can manage to finish off the Chafu Tier 4. And just like that, we have gone from being 3 tanks down on our opponents to now being 1 tank, although they still nearly have double our hit points, so this is going to be a very tricky game to be able to get back into. And I'm going to load high explosive anti-tank rounds here, not because I need them against the Leopard prototype, but because I was expecting the T110E3, the Jagdtiger, the E100 to show up, and for them, the heat rounds are going to be much, much better than using the APCR rounds. Although when I'm engaging a Leopard prototype, the last thing I really want in this tank are the high explosive anti-tank rounds, because of course they can get absorbed by features. So I managed to bait the Leopard into firing. We come round the corner trying to look for a shot into the Leopard's turret, and oh, I shot his gun like a complete klutz. And so that means that I'm going to lose 400 hit points. And the Chafu Tier 4, while it does have an autoloader, it takes 4 seconds between all of the shells. And so that means that the Leopard prototype is actually going to get 2 shots into us. Luckily, they don't high roll those 2 shells, and I'm left with 36 hit points now. And an absolute dream of a game if we're going to manage to get through this one, or I'm going to have a dream round if we want to get through this one. Now, I noticed that T62A, I thought that either it was a bot, because it was AFK at the start of the game. I didn't have high hopes for the T62A being able to get through this one. Now, I expected that the T110E3 and the 50 TP towards my east were going to make their way in. And I thought to myself, why not go and get the self-propelled gun? Take them out the game, take the RNG out the game, and then maybe we can turn this one back into our team's favor. But seeing that our artillery dies, seeing that they're going to be approaching from the east, and seeing that they're also going to be approaching from the west, I realized, even if I chase down the artillery with my 36 hit points against 5,300 hit points and 4 tanks, do I really think that I'm going to be able to get into this one? So I asked my team to just hold on. Yeah, delay them, I say, just praying that they're going to be able to hold them off. Because I know all of the enemy tanks are probably trying to slow play this game, and by pressuring the cap right now, we're going to have to speed it up. And they're all quite slow, right? The Jagdtiger, the E100, and the artillery managed to shut down the T62A, but now I know that the M53, 55 is over towards the west. Whoa, this is starting to get interesting. And I'm hoping that my UDES 1516, who was originally camping up on the hill with the 121B, is going to make use of their final 500 hit points to try and hold back 5k. Yeah, probably not going to happen. Now, luckily for me, I managed to get the artillery to try and blind fire behind this snow mountain here. Or not really a mountain, more of a mound of snow. Now, I'm waiting for the artillery to actually reload for 20 seconds, and then I know that they're going to have a look at me. And then you see that I actually fire one of my shells into the boxes to make them disappear on the artillery's view. And so I'm hoping now that the artillery is going to blind fire at the boxes towards the left of me, or alternatively that they're going to shoot in the bush, which is why I'm not sitting in the bush as well. And with 8 seconds left, 7 seconds left, 6 seconds left, 5 seconds left, 4 seconds left, 3, 2, 1, and we did it! We got there and the artillery blind fires the bush at the end of the game with 4 seconds left. Nearly forgot how to count there with my fingers. I was so excited to be able to take this one down, right? Still excited now to watch it, even after the week post-battle. We managed to cap out just before the enemy team managed to recover, and I was incredibly happy that we kept calm. And we got possibly one of the cheekiest 1 versus 5 wins I have ever managed in World of Tanks. Now, while this wasn't the greatest win that I've ever had in World of Tanks, this one actually meant a lot to me because it was ending a run of games that seemed unendable. I think we're on a 5 or 6 game loss streak at this stage. And it would have been 7 if we hadn't tried to control our emotions, we hadn't looked at the bigger picture, we hadn't tried to do everything that we possibly could to give ourselves the best chance to win. So sometimes you just got to say, not today, World of Tanks, and if all else fails, at least you can pull off a cheeky cap. So as for the post-game stats, we managed to pull off 4,700 damage, 1,200 spotting. We get an invader medal for capping the enemy's base. We lose credits, however, as we did fire a lot of high explosive anti-tank rounds, and we get one that everybody won, but it doesn't really count, a Call of Battles medal for standing alone against at least 5. I only really feel that they count when you manage to take down at least 5 opponents, not just like survive in a cap circle and sit there for a little while. But who am I to gatekeep the Call of Battles medal, right? And so, as I said in the video, if there's one thing that's better about getting older, it's about being more in control of your emotions. You got to play smarter. And while I'm not pretending to be perfect, quite often I get incredibly frustrated playing this game. If you find yourself getting persistently angry, think that you getting mad could end up with you playing even worse in some kind of vicious cycle. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that's it for today. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Sunday, it's time for the World of Tanks Tech Tree Showcase live right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And this week, I'm going to be playing up towards the most overpowered Tier 10 tank destroyer in the game. It's the Object 268 version 4. So if you want to see the tank destroyer that I recommend everybody would be getting, whether you're a new player, whether you're an advanced player, come and check it out. I'm going to showcase the entire line from Tier 1 to Tier 10 so we can feel that Soviet balance. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing you all live right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic and hopefully I'll see you soon.